be timed.
Good evening. I call this meeting of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD Board of Trustees to order at 7, almost o'clock. On November 1st, 2012, we really thank y'all for joining us tonight. Please join me in standing as James Good leads the board's opening prayer.
Our Father, we come to you thanking you for this time as we begin this board meeting, for the encouragement and guidance that you provide us, that we may conduct the business of this school district in a respectful and courteous manner to everyone who's here, that we can acknowledge the success of our students, and especially to our educators and our invited guests, to say thank you to them for all that they do in the classroom. But Father, we are mindful of all of those displaced people along the East Coast that have struggled with the storm, and we ask for your guiding hand and loving hand to be with them as they deal with the displacement. And may we ourselves be some sense of support and encouragement to them. We ask, Father, always for your encouragement and guidance in all our many undertakings. For this is our prayer in your loving Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing as Richard Fleming leads the board in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. As a district, we dedicate all our efforts and resources to the education and improvement of all students. The board uses this mission to guide all deliberations, decisions, and actions. You will get to see all deliberations, decisions, and actions of the board in open session, with the exception of some items which may be discussed in a closed session as stipulated in the Texas Government Code, Section 551, commonly known as the Open Meetings Law. For the record, we are all here except for Ms. Chaffin. We do constitute a quorum and can conduct business on behalf of the district. That being said, I will turn the meeting and gavel over to Dr. Burns for agenda item 1A, welcome and announcements. Dr. Burns?
Thank you, Ms. Klein. Welcome, everyone. We're honored that you have chosen to spend a part of your evening with us tonight. We're going to begin with our special recognition of our VIPs. And I'm going to start with a quote by the famous philosopher, Dr. Seuss. And it goes something like this. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. VIPs, tonight we are here to celebrate you. Our very important professionals. 27 years ago we started celebrating you and the ones before you, our excellent CFB educators. This is our way of saying thank you for being you, teacher, educator, caregiver, friend, and so much more. You work relentlessly every day to help our students achieve at the highest levels. You give unselfishly, you care, you work diligently. That's you. And that's why we're here to celebrate you. So friends and family, please stand when your you is introduced so that we can recognize you as well. And now, Ms. Klein, would you please join me in the front to honor our VIPs.
River Chase.
Good evening, Dr. Burns and board. My name is Rhonda Shepard. I'm the principal of River Chase Elementary School. We are here tonight to introduce to you our newest member in the very important profession of teaching, Tracy Hammond. Tracy has been a huge part of the River Chase family for 8 years. She has served in many capacities, including team leader, ESL math instructional facilitator, math competition coach, River Chase basketball coach, and MAP contact person. Tracy leads by example. She is one of the most caring and committed people you will ever meet. She always has a smile on her face and is ready to help with any task given to her. She strives for excellence for herself as well as her students. Two of Ms. Hammond's students shared with me their love and respect for her. One student stated, "Ms. Hammond is caring and kind and never gives up." Another student felt that Ms. Hammond is very nice. She jokes a lot. She is the best teacher in the world. According to Ms. Hammond's teammate, she works tirelessly to meet all students at their instructional levels and help them achieve success. She always takes the "I'll do whatever it takes" approach, and that's what makes her a great teacher. River Chase Elementary and CFB are fortunate to have Ms. Tracy Hammond as a member of the very important profession of teaching.
Good evening, Dr. Burns, Ms. Klein, and Board. I'm Jody Williams, the principal at Janie Stark Elementary. We are here tonight to introduce you to our newest member of the very important profession of teaching, Ms. Angela Moya. Ms. Moya has been a member of the Stark family for the last 6 years. Prior to becoming a Stark Stallion, Ms. Moya worked 2 years at Dave Blair Elementary. Before that, she taught pre-K at a private school. Ms. Moya grew up in McAllen, Texas, so I guess you could just say she really is a Valley girl. She didn't stray far from home when attending college. She completed her coursework at the University of Texas Pan American in Edinburgh in 3 years. Now, you might say, wow, what a driven student. Well, she was driven, but not really about school. Her father told Angela that she couldn't get married until she finished college. And that's why she took 21 hours a semester. And her husband, Javier, is here with her tonight to support her. Yay. Miss Moya has been our dedicated past teacher at Stark until last week, when she had the opportunity to move to our 4th grade team. Ms. Moya sponsors our safety patrol and works with all of our 4th and 5th graders. When other teachers talk about Ms. Moya, they say things like, she believes that all students can learn, and she instills in her students that they can learn to make better choices. Another teacher said that Ms. Moya is willing to adapt to all kinds of situations, and she gives of herself openly with a great attitude and is hard working even under the most difficult circumstances. Stop that, because I'm going to do that. Janie Stark continues to be a great school because of educators like Angela, who truly believe that all students can learn at the highest levels. We at Janie Stark are pleased that Angela chose the profession of teaching and chose to stay with us at Stark. Help us honor Miss Angela Moya as our newest VIP.
Good evening, Dr. Burns and members of the board. I am Amy Miller, Rosemead Elementary Principal, and I'm here tonight to introduce you to our newest member of the very important profession of teaching, Mrs. Kristen Smith. Kristen is a loving and dedicated teacher. She always goes above and beyond for her students. She makes sure they have whatever they need, be it extra help with work, school supplies, learning to read, or glasses so they can just see at school. Her students will tell you she is just awesome, my favorite teacher, and the overwhelmingly the most common answer when asked about Mrs. Smith is, she's nice. As far as I'm concerned, that is definitely the best way to describe her. But what makes her really special to us here at Rosemead is her dedication to keeping up staff morale. Teachers have a very busy and sometimes thankless job. Kristen does anything she can to make sure we remember to have fun and celebrate our successes. She organizes games for our staff retreats and meetings, remembers birthdays, sends cards when people need a pick-me-up, and always has a positive attitude that makes others feel better. She does all this extra in addition to her daily classroom duties. It's her goal to spread sunshine on the teachers and staff at Rosemead, most of the time behind the scenes and unnoticed. But she does it all because she knows that happy teachers have happy students who love learning and coming to school. Everyone needs a Kristen at their school, but we would never give up ours. She is my VIP, and I truly appreciate her many contributions to Rosemead. Rosemead Elementary and CFB are indeed fortunate to have Mrs. Kristen Smith as a member of the very important profession of teaching.
Mrs. Klein, members of the board, Dr. Burns, and colleagues, my name is Stephanie Cherney, and I have the pleasure of serving as the principal of Vivian Field Middle School. It is my great privilege to introduce Ms. Sarah Sandel, our ESL department manager and teacher, to be recognized as Vivian Field's next member of the very important profession of teaching. Mrs. Sandel started in CFB 9 years ago at Vivian Field. She originally graduated from the University of Texas in 1984 as a teacher, but stayed home to raise her children and work part-time. She has been married to her husband, Haney, for 22 years and has 2 lovely daughters. Hannah just turned 21 and is a junior at UNT studying English literature, and Rachel, 18, is a freshman at UT and was the valedictorian of her senior class in Coppell last year. She is in the Liberal Arts Honors Program. I'm secretly praying that both Hannah and Rachel become teachers like their mom. Sarah began her teaching career as an ESL aide to see whether or not she would like the classroom. She did like the classroom, and we are so glad. Starting as a newcomer teacher, she was the first face a new child to our country would see as their American teacher, and she is perfect for the job. Sarah welcomes our new students with a compassion that is unmatched. She has high expectations for all children, knowing although her students have the hardest road ahead of them, they have the most to gain from their education. It is evident in the kindness and respect she shows to everyone in our building that she is a woman of incredible class. One of her students wrote, "I like Miss Sandel. She helped me when I just came and helps me now. She is so friendly to me and to us all. She is a really good teacher because she knows how to make you understand something you don't know. If you have problems, she understands you." Another student wrote, "Miss Sandel is very nice to everyone. She is my very best teacher." Her colleague wrote, "Her commitment to her students and to our school is inspiring to me and to those around her. I feel so blessed to have her as my team leader, colleague, and friend. She motivates me to be a better teacher in person on a daily basis." And finally, one of her friends wrote, "She just recently experienced her own personal Niagara Falls due to ruptured pipes in her house, and you would never have known it at work because Sarah carries herself with dignity and honor each and every day." So congratulations to you, Miss Sandel, Vivian Field's very own Jackie O. Your impact on our students is invaluable, and we welcome you to the very important profession of teaching.
Good evening, Dr. Burns, Mrs. Klein, and members of the board. My name is Carolyn Ridgway, Assistant Principal at Blanton Elementary. I'm here tonight to introduce our newest member to the very important profession of teaching, Heather Pryor. Heather grew up in Sweetwater, Texas, and describes her childhood as being pretty close to the Leave It to Beaver show. She is a confessed daddy's girl and credits her parents as being her first teachers. Her dad taught her to work hard, be respectful, and to always keep her word. Her mom not only taught her to read before kindergarten, but taught her the value of education and reaching her goals. Heather graduated from Abilene High School a semester early and with honors. Heather continued her education at the University of North Texas, where she wanted to major in counseling and work with parents of terminally ill children. Heather found her inspiration to become a teacher when she remembered the great memories that Mrs. Hooper and Mrs. Swindle provided for her in kindergarten and first grade. Their warmth and love of teaching and sweet smiles inspired her to create those precious moments for a new generation of children. Heather reached her goal and became a teacher in December 2006. I am sure her first grade teacher, Mrs. Swindle, must be very proud and knows what Heather has accomplished since they remain friends through Facebook. Heather is a true Blanton bulldog. She did her observation and student teaching in Blanton and has been a first grade teacher for the last 5 years. She has served as a one-woman show in the Sunshine Committee, co-webmaster, PTA board member, in addition to school ambassador. Heather is described by her peers as very organized, dedicated, creative, hardworking, and did I mention very organized. She taught summer school and planned her wedding to TJ, whom she married on June the 30th. She is the Martha Stewart of the education field. Her classroom is a neat, well-organized space that has beautiful anchor charts with great illustrations drawn by hand. Heather loves order and organization, along with zebra, leopard prints, and anything that sparkles. Heather's teaching philosophy is to set high expectations for her students and instilling in them that they can truly achieve whatever they want. At the end of the year, her students know that there are no limits to what they can become. Heather creates strong relationships and connections with her students. She likes to learn about her students' family and, in turn, likes to tell them about her family. TJ, her husband, is her biggest advocate and constant helper. He is always ready to lend a helping hand or fund a project for our school. The staff at Blanton Elementary are very fortunate to have Ms. Heather Pryor as a member of the very important profession of teaching.
That does conclude our recognitions tonight, but we do want to share some district announcements with you, so if you'll turn to the screen.
You want district news? Well, you came to the right place. You are 30 seconds away from some great stuff that's happening in CFB ISD. Welcome back. Tonight is Thursday, November 1st, and I am pleased to bring you the news you need to know about our great district. We want to start off the night congratulating the district's 271 employees who are honored for their services of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and yes, even 40 years of service to Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District. The district honored those individuals at a dinner event on October 23rd. We salute all the teachers that make so much a difference in our lives. And teachers are not the only ones doing great things. We want to congratulate all of our students competing in various fine arts, athletic, and organization competitions. To find out more about these great accomplishments, check out the Accolades website at www.cfbisd.edu/accolades. Some of those great organizations include our wonderful academies at each one of our 4 high schools. We have a ton of great high schoolers that do a wonderful job representing these organizations. If your middle school student is interested in joining one of these great academies, the directors will be visiting each middle school starting on November 5th. To get the exact time and dates of these presentations, contact your middle school counselor today. We want to end the night by scrolling the list of upcoming district holidays. Everyone in CFB-ISD wants to wish all our teachers, staff, and students a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving holiday. And don't forget, the next school board meeting will be on Thursday, December 6th at 7 p.m. All meetings are in the administration building at 1445 North Perry Road, Carrollton. Here are those holiday closings to finish out the evening. Good night.
We'd like to thank R.L. Turner AMAT Academy, who they do our announcement. Didn't she do a great job?
Yes, she did.
So, Ms. Klein, members of the board, that concludes our recognitions tonight.
I wanted to thank the schools that are here tonight and the staff that came to help us celebrate our VIPs. Thank you for telling us their personal stories and introducing them to us. We you call them nice, which they are nice, but also organized. I'm jealous. But most of all, you care about our students and their successes. So thank you for what you do and all the people who help recognize these people with us, because we know there's a lot of stories like that. And it reminds us why we're here. So thank you for your time this evening. At this time, we're going to take a 10-minute recess, but before doing that, I would like to remind the audience that the board encourages comments from citizens of the district or from district employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so during the agenda item 3A, audience for guests. The board asks that comments pertain to public education issues and be no longer than 3 minutes. But with that, we'll take a recess at 7:24 p.m. We'll be back at 7:34, and we think some of y'all may want to possibly go work at home on something else. So thank you. If you'd like to stay and listen to the report by superintendent on student achievement and the district improvement plan, we do welcome you to stay for that also. So thank y'all. The Carrollton-Farmers Branch Board of Trustees back to order at 7:34 p.m. and turn over to Dr. Burns for item 2, report by superintendent. 2A is presentation on student achievement district improvement plan. Dr. Burns?
Thank you, Ms. Klein. Members of the board, tonight's kind of our final chapter in the planning process, starting with our work study on strategic planning, and then tonight we present to you the district plan. But we wanted to provide a little context tonight and how important planning is, and we believe that planning is really the critical piece into continuous improvement that we've seen over the district and we continue to find as an effective tool for raising student achievement. And so planning is critical. And as Einstein would say, you got to spend a lot of time defining the problem first and then finding the solution. We're going to present to you tonight the district improvement plan. The district improvement plan is really comprehensive in nature. It will include the strategic plan, from which all things kind of flow. We are very tightly aligned to our strategic plan. But the district plan does include that, but with a little bit more detail into the things that we are doing in it. Not certainly every action strategy that we do in the district, but certainly some of the big levers that we believe help us accomplish our strategic objectives. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Shanna Brown. Shanna is our DIC, that's the District Improvement Council. She's the chairperson for that committee. It's her second year, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the District Improvement Council's role as well as the plan to introduce tonight's presentation. So, Shanna?
Thank you. There were 4 important components to guiding the work of the District Improvement Plan. They are the vision, the mission, the statement of beliefs, and the graduate profile. The vision of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District states that all students will meet the state of Texas assessment of academic readiness at the satisfactory or advanced level and graduate college or workforce ready without remediation. The vision states, together with families and community, we dedicate all our efforts and resources to the education and improvement of all students. The statement of beliefs has 8 tenets. The first one starts with the economic, political, and societal success of our country depends on a quality education for all. It ends with, everyone is a teacher, everyone is a learner. The graduate profile addresses the needs for our students to be responsible individuals, competent learners, complex thinkers, and effective communicators. The district has one goal: Having this one goal allows us to align professional development, resources, and all of our efforts towards this one goal. There are 4 supporting objectives that each have performance measures and performance targets. These are set each year to ensure that success as we are making progress toward our goal. Our goal of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD is high achievement for all students. Supporting Objective 1 is to continuously increase student achievement. Supporting Objective 2, continuously improve the learning environment for students and staff. Supporting Objective 3, continuously increase operational effectiveness. Supporting Objective 4, continuously increase stakeholder confidence and support of our school system. The District Improvement Council, or DIC, is mandated by state law and is charged with providing advice to the superintendent regarding the planning, operation, supervision, and evaluation of the district educational program. Members of the DIC represent various stakeholders of the group. They include parents, teachers, administrators, and community members. Each campus selects a representative to serve a 2-year term. The terms are staggered and new members are added each year. The DIC meets monthly except in December and March. Agenda topics include the district improvement plan, budget, calendar, and other matters as they arise. I would like to have any members of the 2012-2013 DIC to please stand at this time and be recognized. I don't think they're in yet.
They're busy doing their plans.
Oh, yes, they are. Dr. Burns will now provide an overview of the strategic improvement plan.
Yeah. Thank you, Shannon. We need to give Shannon a big hand. That's a role that she plays. Volunteers, much like our board member. She volunteers for that, and as well as the chair, and she's done a great job for 2 years, so thank you, Shannon, very much. We talked earlier in September about how all of the plans connect together, and this is kind of the visual of connecting the dots. So we have our strategic improvement plan, which the board has reviewed back in September, and then our district improvement plan tonight, which is at the action level for our campuses. We also have a campus improvement plan, so you can see how things kind of align under each other, and they're all very tightly aligned to those supporting objectives you saw earlier, as well as the main thing, which is our goal of high achievement for all students. We do believe in performance management. We believe that we should measure what we're doing to determine our success. And under each of our objectives, we measure quantitatively how we're doing. You've heard us talk about the Academic Performance Index, API, which is provided to us from an independent resource called Education Resource Group, who really take these academic indicators that you see underneath there and then give us an index. How are we doing compared to the 200 largest school districts in the state of Texas? And we have done very well. We are in the number 17 out of the 200, but we continue to want to climb that ladder, and certainly our goal is to be number 1. Under our second objective, we believe that a learning environment is critical to academic achievement and student achievement. So we look at our employees and how they're doing and how they feel about the work environment, as well as our students. We believe these indicators tell us something about our learning environment. If you're coming to school, that's a good thing. If you have fewer disciplinary placements, that's a good thing. And we believe from our employees we hear information regarding their working conditions and how they believe this district rates in terms of compensation and benefits. And now, under continuously increased operational effectiveness, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hyatt to talk about some of the financial indicators.
Just as Dr. Burns was mentioning the API, the Academic Performance Index, there's an FPI component to the ERG data. The Financial Performance Index is driven specifically about how much money we spend relative to the type of students and the type and nature of students we have. There are several categories that they break the information down. They listed there, they break it down by instructional services, leadership services, student services, and non-student services, and just operations of the district. And not only do they provide the overall FPI index, but they break it down into component elements, so we can compare ourselves not only to the overall state, but the other individual school districts that we'd like to compare ourselves to, other high-performing districts.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wright. Board members, you recall just last week we spent some time on resource allocation. And this particular objective ties in with that and your work with guiding us and how we use our resources toward those academic achievements we want, but how we use it and the effectiveness of how we use it, return on investment, as Mr. Height just explained. We also get that from ERG and our financial performance index. And then the last objective, we believe that this is a partnership. It takes a village to do this work, and we want to engage all our stakeholders, community members, parents, everyone in the community to help us achieve this goal of high achievement. And we believe that we are showing improvement by providing these indexes to our community so that they know that they're getting a return on their investment. Under the Educational Productivity Index, it takes the academic and the financial index together, and it combines it in a score and ranks us with the top 200 or the largest 200 school districts in Texas. And that ranking, I'm proud to say, we are number 8 out of 200 school districts. So we are very proud of using our resources, again, to meet our goal of high achievement for all students. And we will start the district improvement piece with, again, kind of a restating of how important is planning. It's what we do to help us prepare for the future. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mayer for some of the particular action strategies that we do at the district level for these 4 objectives. So, Dr. Mayer?
Thank you, Dr. Burns. Under continuously improving student achievement, we've selected some items to share with you. As Dr. Burns indicated, this isn't everything that we have on the district improvement plan, but we wanted to share some big levers for student achievement. The first one is that we've expanded instructional rounds. You've heard us talk about instructional rounds. It's where networks of professionals that include teachers, principals, instructional coaches and specialists get together, and we go into classrooms and we look at learning and we look at school teaching improvement based on a problem of practice that schools have identified. This year we have 26 schools out of our 35 that are eligible to be involved in instructional rounds, and it continues to, we believe, move instruction forward, and we continue to want to expand that work. Next, we have expanded our project-based learning. We have been engaged in project-based learning at R.L. Turner High School in our METSA Academy. Project-based learning is where students engage in a rigorous, in-depth project that helps teach them the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills through an inquiry-based problem-solving approach. And we have seen great results with that, and so we want to expand PBL across our district. So this summer we have 20 ninth grade teachers from across the district that receive training from 2 of the trainers from R.L. Turner High School, and then we've continued to coach and work with them throughout the year, and we believe very much that project-based learning is a direction we want to continue to pursue. We also this year have implemented an Assistant Principals Academy. We understand that professional growth is the lifeblood of all of our employees, and so we have arranged book study as well as some speakers, a principal panel, etc., for our assistant principals this year. We also are expanding our coaching. At the high school level this year, you can see the courses on the screen that we are including in that coaching. English 1, 2, and 3, and Algebra 1, 2, and Geometry. Those are end-of-course courses that receive an end-of-course exam. And we're doing the structure a little differently at high school than what we have at elementary, and that is that the coaches in these particular courses also teach that course 2 periods a day, and then the rest of the day they coach other teachers that teach the same course. It brings a lot of instant credibility with teachers because they're teaching exact same thing with kids, so they're very familiar with the curriculum, they're very familiar with the assessments, so we're very excited about that initiative. Ms. Smith is going to talk to you about our next group of strategies to increase student achievement.
Thank you. The first one we want to talk about tonight is the guided reading training that is going on for all kindergarten, first, and second grade teachers. This first semester, we're really focusing on first and second grade teachers, and then we will expand that to include kindergarten during the second semester. During that time, teachers are reading, they're studying, they're looking at ways to better provide instruction to all of our students, because it is our goal to have everyone reading on level by the time they leave each and every grade level. That is especially important for K1 and 2, because if you can have students reading on level at those grade levels, then the rest of it becomes much easier work for the children and those who instruct them. In fact, this week we were at several of schools in the district, and that training was going on. Students were actually brought into the training, and the teachers had a chance to plan a quick lesson and actually work with the students, receiving feedback from the rest of the teachers who were in the room. Another strategy that we're looking at this year is an extension of the elementary two-way dual language program. The two-way program is the program where we have our students who are native English speakers in with those students who are native Spanish speakers. So we have the English students helping the Spanish students with their English skills, and then vice versa. All of the language arts and all of the social studies are taught in Spanish, native English speakers and those Spanish speakers. And then all of the math and the science are taught in English. It's quite a thing to see. If you all have some time to go to either Thompson, Stark, or our newest school, McWhorter, they just have the kindergarten program. It's quite a sight to behold, and those teachers, principals, and staffs are to be commended. Finally, as you all know, last year at one of the board meetings, parents of those students who are in the two-way dual program came to the board and said, through fifth grade, learning Spanish through fifth grade is just not enough. We would like to see that program extended into middle school. And we're pleased to say that this year at Vivian Field Middle School, we are providing Spanish to our students during their social studies period during the school day. It is still in its infancy, but I can tell you that when Dr. Hinojosa comes to share her information with you, I believe she will have more information to share with you about the success of that particular program. Mrs. Bailey will continue with our presentation.
To continuously improve the learning environment for students and staff, we have looked at our policies and procedures, and we have adopted new bullying policies and procedures that will help us maintain a safe and effective learning environment for students. In addition to our teachers being trained, also our students are being trained and educated about the dangers of bullying with our time in elementary, negotiate in middle school, and in all of the high schools through character development programs during advisory periods. And we also have a new initiative from the state where we are addressing suicide prevention. We plan to and have adopted and staff development practices and procedures that will address and will train our staff on suicide prevention, including our counselors, our teachers, and as you know, this is something that is well needed in our schools. Joe Gillen and our counseling staff has educated our staff, and we will have ongoing training throughout the year to address and identify suicide prevention.
Another element of continuously improving the learning environment, not only do we address the environment of student management and discipline, but we also believe that the physical environment affects the ability to educate our students. A large project for us this year was to initiate construction of Las Colinas Elementary Replacement School. That brings near to an end a complete district-wide refreshment of our school buildings, and this district has a unique, relatively unique position of being almost temporary building free. Several years ago, several of our elementaries and even some of our middle and high schools had temporary building because we didn't have adequate space. By finishing up the Las Colinas replacement and the other item, the initiation of an expansion of Ted Polk Middle School, we now not only have quality space, but we have adequate space for all of our students. Under the goal of continuously increasing operational effectiveness, this refreshes back to the ERG's analysis and ERG data. We analyze the data for top 10 ranked districts in ERG's Financial Performance Index to evaluate our operational efficiencies. Not only will we look at rankings in the facilities, but within the core data of the ERG, you can actually pull out the base information that yields the performance indexes and the rankings, and we can do specific area by area, function by function, district by district comparisons to see where we spend our money, where other top performing districts spend their money, and adjust our planning and our strategies so that we can specifically direct our resources to the areas where we think will yield the greatest achievement for our students. The concept of allocating resources become more and more critical in an era of lessening resources. We don't have the luxury any longer of having too much spent in one place when we need to dedicate it mostly to the academic performance areas. We also, while we're in a relatively stable, if not somewhat stagnant period of student growth in our district, our school district's enrollment hasn't changed significantly in the last 4 years. We do have some shifts within the district, particularly on the west side. So we're going to look closely at the demographic growth and enrollment changes in the west side of the district to look at capacity needs and look at some of the demographic structural needs within those students.
Okay, and we'll finish the district plan highlights with the last objective I mentioned earlier, which is continuously increase our stakeholder confidence. And as you've seen in the hallway out here and in our different publications, we want to promote the great things that this district is doing, promote the great things on our campuses. Angela Shelley in our communications department and her staff are committed to making sure that we get the good news out. We've also implemented a community and staff ambassador program, again, to have the conversation to what's going well and what's right in the district and what we need to work on. Obviously, we will continue to do, but there are a lot of great things going on in this district and we need to spread the word. And then financial transparency. You know, we have about all the money we're probably going to get for a while, and we want you to know how we're using it and that we're using it well to, again, as Mr. Height said, take those resources and convert those into student achievement. That concludes the highlights of our district improvement plan. I do want to note that this doesn't include every action strategy that we have in our district plan. We do have a complete district plan for the community on our website as well as for the board and for you to access that has all of the action strategies, as well as each campus has a plan underneath that. And you could see how each objective drives the action strategy. So at the campus level, they too have strategies to address student achievement, the learning environment, efficiency, and stakeholder confidence. So we have a very tightly aligned plan starting at the board's level, from the strategic vision to the campus or to the district level, and then down to the campus level. And so we believe that if we do that and we do a good job of it, then, as this quote says, employees can make better decisions if they're sure about the strategies that we have and how they align tightly together. And that concludes our update on the district improvement plan for 2012-2013. Board members, Ms. Klein, any questions for staff?
Thank you for the presentation. Board members, are there any questions or comments regarding the district improvement plan? Good report. I think that's
very good report.
Says it all. Thank you, Dr. Burns.
Well, and again, back to the District Improvement Council and Dr. Mayer and her staff and Mr. Hyatt, our staff, they do a really great job in planning and then getting the information there in front of you. So we are very fortunate in this district. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. That takes us to item 3A, audience for guests. Audience for guests is a mechanism the board uses to receive feedback and input from our constituents. If you want to address the board, you will need to fill out the form that was outside the door as you enter the boardroom. And if you'd give it to Ms. Scrivener. Ms. Scrivener, do you have any forms?
No, I do not.
Is there anybody that would like to address the board? So at this time, we'll go on and move to item 3B, consent agenda. The consent agenda is a mechanism that the board uses to approve a number of routine items together with a single vote. In compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the public notice for this meeting includes the list of all consent agenda items, and the board has been provided ample information about these items in advance. Prior to any action taken on the consent agenda, board members may request withdrawal of individual items for clarification or discussion. Board members, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda at this time? Well, board, doesn't look like you want to remove any items. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Shore.
I second James's motion.
Mr. Good, was there a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Good. Mr. Shore, was that a
I will
second?
second that a second time.
All those in favor? All those opposed? That is unanimous. So that brings us to item 3C, consider all matters related to superintendent evaluation. At this time, this is a follow-up item to our meeting last week where we considered the superintendent evaluation. Is there any discussion or action that the board would like to take?
I have some discussion.
Okay, Mr. Shore.
I just want to applaud the six of you for the diligence and the vigor that you applied in the evaluation of our superintendent. Evaluating the superintendent is one of the things that by law we're mandated to do, and I want to tip my cap to the six of you for how you all went about doing this, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with you in doing that.
Thank you, Frank.
11 o'clock at night.
Well, and Mr. Matthews had to be somewhere at 4:30 the next morning. So we appreciate the sleep deprivation of some of our board members and the activity of all.
Okay.
Ms. Chaffin?
If I may say so, Ms. Klein, to the public, one of the things that we do look at is a tremendous amount of data, and I would like to compliment the staff and the superintendent on the preparation of that data. It is quite thorough. It's actually a little daunting, actually. So we did have a lot to work with, and I also appreciate the board members and the work that went into actually reviewing and studying and understanding that data. So thank you, guys.
I was particularly impressed by the reading that Dr. Burns does each year, plus also the number of meetings that he attends, while still managing to focus on high achievement for all students.
Can we discuss more of that data?
Yes.
Okay. I have some questions. You know that. We are ranked where by ERG?
In the academic index, number 17. In the overall index, the EPI, number 8. And in the financial index, 55 or 54?
54, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. In the academic, we're 17, and that's out of how many?
Out of the 200 largest school districts in the state of Texas, roughly 4 million students that those 200 districts educate.
So if it's 200, top 10% would be, if you were 20th, you'd be in the top 10%.
Yes, sir.
So
We're
if you
9.
got the sports page of the Dallas Morning News, and you see the AP, the UPI poll, top 25, then we would be there.
Number 17. For 2 years in a row, we've been number 17.
Okay. When did we start utilizing ERG?
About 3 years ago. Well, the staff's been looking at it for longer than that to really kind of validate that what it was measuring was aligned to the district plans. And so 3 years ago, we started talking about it with the board in our strategic plan, and then it started driving our decisions and our resource allocation, and is a scorecard, if you will, of how we're doing compared to the other districts around us.
Okay, so we're academically 17th out of the top 200.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm going to test your memory.
Okay.
How long have you been the big cheese?
This is starting the 4th year, not counting interim year.
Okay, now this may be directed towards Mr. Hyatt. Mr. Hyatt, you have the opportunity to look at the compensation of superintendents across the state, right? That's a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I take it you know how much we pay our superintendent?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is his compensation the 17th highest in the state?
No, sir. I haven't looked closely to actually quantify
I didn't think
that.
it was 17th either. You have to drop down how far to find out where our superintendent is on the pay scale in the state.
39?
Further.
34th, I think.
I can answer that question.
How about 39?
39.
Okay. Should have asked from, okay. When's the last time our superintendent received an increase in his compensation?
A year ago last July, or no, 2 years ago last July.
Okay, and how long do we have him locked up for?
Dr. Burns, how long do they have you locked up for?
Through 2015.
Through 2015?
Yes, sir.
So that means that we've got you for this year.
And 2 more.
And 2 more years.
Yes, sir.
So you're under a.
And I don't feel locked up. I feel privileged.
That's why I asked. I wasn't sure what that meant.
Very
I just
nice.
served that one up so you could say that. Okay, so you're under contract for 3 years.
Effectively, yeah, this year and 2 more.
Okay. Jeez. Mr. Hyatt, what's the longest term of a contract you're aware of for a superintendent?
5? Yeah, I'm stretching because I
5
don't know
years.
everybody in the state, but that's the longest I've heard.
That's the longest that I'm aware of, is 5.
If this august body decided to extend your contract by 2 years, and if you accepted that, wouldn't you be under contract for 5 years?
Yes, sir.
It's tempting.
This year and then 4 additional.
It's tempting. Okay, I get the information I need. Well, listen, I'll make a motion, but I don't know if anybody else wants to learn anything.
Well, you could make the motion and see if anybody follows suit.
Okay.
I think Mr. Shore was asking, does anyone else have any questions or quiz things to ask Dr. Burns?
I think his were fairly detailed.
Okay, Sharon, you better take good notes. I know what I want to say. It may not come up precisely correct, but I know what I want it to be. Okay. I move that we take the action that would cause the superintendent's contract to be extended by 2 years. And I move that we increase his compensation by 1.5% with a caveat. And here, Sharon, you need to give attention to this. Not this coming year, but the following year.
13, 14.
Just a second. Not 13, 14, but 14, 15.
14, 15.
14, 15.
2 years.
If the staff receives an increase that's greater than 1.5%, then the superintendent for that year would also receive an increase equal to the difference between 1.5 and, if the staff gets an increase, that amount. So just so I'm clear on this. So if the staff were to get a 15% raise, you'd only be getting 13.5%. You don't get 15 on top of the 1.5.
I got you.
And I don't think it's going to be 15%. I would be surprised if the board took that action. But that's my motion, if I can give it a footnote to this. I don't want to penalize the superintendent if he feels locked into a long-term contract. And so if the staff were to receive compensation increase that's greater than 1.5%, not this coming year, but the year after, I wouldn't want you to be penalized. Got that, Sharon? Okay, that's my motion.
Congratulations.
I second that motion.
Good, I got 3 people confused.
Well, Ms. Chaffin?
Okay, let me see if I can repeat this.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, I think so. You want to extend by 2 years?
Yes.
Okay,
That gets them locked up for 5 years.
right. You want to do a salary increase at this time of 1.5%,
Yes.
and
Which actually brings him to where the staff was last year.
correct. Correct. And then you want a further piece of this motion,
Complicating.
which to be that for the school year of 2015, if the staff, do it again for me, please.
For the staff year 2014, 2015.
Yeah?
Staff gets an increase that's greater than 1.5% for that year, that our contract with the superintendent include a provision that the superintendent's compensation is increased, the difference between 1.5% and the increase the staff gets if they get such an increase.
So are you increasing his salary in 2014, 2015 by 1.5% plus something else?
Only if the other
Only if the staff
Only if
gets
the
an
staff
increase.
gets an increase.
Okay, so if the staff gets an increase.
That exceeds 1.5%.
Let's say the staff got a 3% increase, Dr. Burns would get a 1.5% increase.
Exactly.
I would like to ask Mr. Hyde a question.
I'm not sure I can answer.
Mr. Hyde, have you ever heard of anybody doing a superintendent contract with a note like that in it?
We haven't, but
Hello, look at the word between and leader.
no, ma'am, I've never heard anything.
Okay,
But
I was
that's
just
limited
curious.
scope of knowledge, so.
Ms. Klein,
Yes, Mr. Good.
in my mind, it's highly complex, and there's too many caveats in it. We have the freedom, as the board, to make that determination every year. Just
trying
like
to
we
get- I'm trying to
review
get
the
2 more years.
superintendent every year, I would rather see us make that determination every year when we do the superintendent evaluation, rather than try to come up with a formula to project what the future may hold in store. I'm sorry.
And beyond that, what happens to the year 13, 14?
He's getting a 1.5% raise.
In 13, 14?
Well, if you increase his compensation now.
It's 12, 13.
This is 12, this is 12,
okay, but it's gonna be the
13.
same thing.
No.
This is 12,
I know, but we're
13,
extending
so
it. We're extending the contract.
But that doesn't give him,
that doesn't give him more money next year.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, sir.
you need to ask Mr. Hyatt.
No, it does not.
That's what he
It
gets.
just extends his employment with the district. It doesn't change his compensation after this year.
Well, okay, implicit in my motion is that the increased compensation carries forward each year.
No, that's not the
That was not the
standard.
motion.
Well, that's what I'm amending it to be.
Okay, could we split this up, Mr. Shore, into a couple of pieces? Could we do the contract extension and then could we do the salary?
We can, but we're bargaining.
Okay.
And you know, right now we're bargaining against ourselves. And that's stupid.
So what you want in terms of salary
A 1.5% increase.
is a 1.5% increase this year and an additional 1.5% increase in the school year 13-14.
No.
No?
No. I want to move this body to increase his compensation by 1.5%. And that increased amount carry through all the years that he's our superintendent. And then what I was trying to sponsor was, if the staff got an increase 2 years from now, and it was greater than 1.5%,
What if the staff gets a raise next year?
it's too bad.
Well, I would-
Security.
I would prefer to address it sort of the way Mr. Good discussed.
Okay, I give up.
So, Innovation is cool, but sometimes
This is
tradition is
Oh,
cool.
my feelings aren't hurt.
I think
Okay.
we need to vote on his motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. And Ms. Watton has reminded me, we had a motion and a second, and we should vote on that motion as it stood. Yes, Ms. Scrivener?
Who seconded?
Ms. Watton?
Okay, thank you.
And this was for
The three-part
three parts.
contract.
This was a three-part motion, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I feel bad because, okay, can I withdraw my motion? It's going to get shot down, and that's okay, let's go forward.
Okay. So Mr. Shore would like to withdraw his motion. Is there another motion that we would like to consider?
2 years.
Mr. Goody, are you making a motion?
I move that we extend the superintendent's contract by 2 years, period. No other
Second
additions
that.
at this time.
Okay. You had 2 seconds.
Okay, I was trying to figure out who seconded.
Frank and I
Frank did.
seconded. Frank seconded.
Scrivener.
Okay, I've
Okay.
got 4.
All those in favor? All those opposed? That is unanimous. Okay. Board, is there any other action on item 3C?
Yeah.
Mr. Shore?
I move that we increase the superintendent's compensation, who's got us ranked 17th, whose compensation currently ranks 39th in the state, to be increased by 1.5%.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. All those in favor?
Ms. Klein,
Yes.
before you vote on, could I ask you to stipulate a effective date? Because it kind of puts us in a bind. Do we start that tomorrow, or do we start
We
it
say November 1st?
November
Or
1st?
Mr. Shore, do you have an effective date for your motion?
Retroactive.
Wait today.
November 1st, 2012.
We talked about retroactive in the meeting last
Yeah,
week.
we talked
Oh,
about-
okay. Mr. Shore?
Okay.
But his contract is what, July?
Yeah, July 1st.
Right.
Then I
I
move.
think
that
what
we
we try to
start-
say is this, we usually do by school year. So it's 13, 14, 12, 13, 14, 15 kind of thing, so.
So retroactive would be
So
good.
for- is the motion
Traditionally,
for
it would have
12,
been
13?
retroactive to July
Retroactive
1st.
12, 13
Right.
school year.
So it'd be retroactive.
I would move that it be retroactive to the 12-13 school year.
Okay,
Second.
that helps a lot.
We've already approved it.
Thank you.
Okay, but, well, I thought that was.
Well, we
All those in favor of Mr. Shore's motion?
Thank you.
Did you get that? For sure.
Okay.
I learned at Robert's Rules of Order School that if you raise your left hand, it's not voting in favor, but I'll just point that out. But that's what they say in the book of Robert's Rules of Order.
Well, and I voted left that time,
So-
too.
I'll switch it. I can do-
But I haven't heard that anywhere other than in the book, so.
Okay.
But thank you, Board. That takes us, thank you, Dr. Burns. I
My
don't think
pleasure.
you're locked in, but I do appreciate that you're willing to sign a contract.
Madam President, would you let us know when he fixes his name to that contract?
Yes.
Yes, we can do
Yes, we
that.
will. And again, thank you, but again, it's a tribute to our staff and the hard work that they're doing, and the board's confidence in me is reflected to all of them. So on behalf of them, they appreciate it as well, so thank you.
Thank you. Item 4, comments from board members for any posted agenda items the board would like to comment on. Doesn't look like there is any. Item 5, closed meeting is authorized under Texas Government Code, including but not limited to Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, real property, 551.074, personnel matters, 551.076, security devices, 551.082, school children, district employees, disciplinary matter or complaint, 551.0821, personally identifiable student information, 551.084, investigation. 5A is pursuant to Sections 551.074, personnel matters, and CFB ISD policy DGBA legal and DGBA local, conduct the Level 3 hearing requested by Ana Irahita to the extent necessary as determined by the presiding officer. At this time, we will go into closed session at 8:17 PM, and after we finish our closed session, we'll be reconvening in open session for item 6 at that time. So at 8:17 PM, we will enter closed session, and we will be taking a brief 5-minute recess in between. Thank you. Item 6, which is reconvene for public meeting to vote on matters considered in closed meeting.
Estamos renovando nuevamente esta reunión a las 10:20 aproximado para continuar con esta reunión.
Item 6A is discussion and possible action concerning Level 3 employee grievance of Ana Irijita.
La acción se ha considerado del nivel 3 para la señora Iraeta.
Ms. Klein, if I may.
Go ahead, Ms. Chaffin.
Ms. Irijita, it is very strongly the board's expectation
Señora Iraeta, la expectativa del comité es muy fuerte
that the district will provide all supervisory personnel
que el distrito va a proveer un personal de supervisión
with the necessary and appropriate training
Con-
so that they, excuse me,
con el entrenamiento apropiado de manera
so that they maintain a proper working environment.
que ellos puedan mantener un ambiente apropiado de trabajo.
Mr. Good?
Señor Good,
I move that the board affirm the Level 1 decision
visto la
of district administration in the grievance of Ana Irijita.
decisión del nivel 1 de la administración. Level 2 o level 1?
Level 2.
De nivel 2 de la señora Iraeta.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Good. Thank you, Mr. Matthews. All those in favor?
¿Todos están de acuerdo?
All those opposed?
Los que se oponen.
So we have abstained, Ms. Grivner, for
Who abstained?
Mr. Fleming. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Gracias.
board members, are there any other items to be discussed tonight?
Miembros de la directiva, ¿hay algo más que necesitemos discutir esta noche?
Hearing none and seeing none, by my determination, we've reached the end of our agenda, and we are adjourned at 10:25 p.m.
Hemos llegado al final de nuestra